Hey everybody, it's Brad here from Board Game Geek, and today we're going to have what I'm calling a new feature, Hybrid Lab. We've looked at hybrids in the past, and this is another in that series, and I just decided to make up a name for it right this second. Today is Clink from Renegade Games and Direwolf Digital, and they have an app which allows you to play solo or potentially add new elements to the multiplayer game. In Clank, you delve into a dangerous dungeon, avoiding traps and monsters, and try to acquire as much treasure as you can before you either pass out from combat or are devoured by the dragon which lives deep in the dungeon. This is a deck building game where you'll be acquiring new cards and combating monsters to give yourselves new strength and be able to move quickly through the dungeon or accomplish different tasks depending on the strategy you take. The goal is to grab one of these artifact tokens, at which point you can attempt to leave the dungeon, trying to get as much loot as you can and avoiding the mini attacks from the dragon. The app will work with Clank and Clank Sunken Treasures, which is the expansion. There are two modes, a single player and multiplayer mode. The single player, I think, will be a little more used since it is a way to play the game by yourself, which you cannot typically do. Once you select which color you'd like to play, the game will walk you through a few different setup steps that are unique to this mode, and once you follow each of those, you'll be good to go. What's introduced here is a new threat meter which you need to watch out for. So besides your own health cubes going into the dragon bag, you've also got these threat cubes, and when the threat reaches its total of 10, you'll have to contend with a pretty difficult countdown timer, which will drive you toward the end of the game and put pressure on you to get out of the dungeon as quickly as you can. Apart from this, the game features some quests which you'll need to complete. Upon completing these quests, you'll gain different rewards, and at the end of each turn, we'll also give you some instructions like discarding some cards, as well as gaining some other negative effects potentially. On top of that, when you fail quests, there are negative effects which you need to deal with, and these are generally punishments for not completing the task which they assigned you. Once your game is complete, the app will walk you through a scoring session to determine how well you did, and you can brag about it on social media. The multiplayer mode allows you to play with the full complement of up to 4 players and features a new mechanic in the game, a lieutenant, which has, again, certain quests or certain things that you may do as you play the game. And every time you do one of these, you click the button and potentially the lieutenant will attack, creating sometimes a positive effect or most likely a negative effect upon all the players. In this case, it was positive, gold for everybody. But there are also many, many negative effects, and you need to watch out for these. So again, this just adds another fun random element to the game, allowing you to kind of decide what you're going to do based on whether or not it may trigger the lieutenant to engage in an attack. So far, I've only been able to use the app with the single player mode of the game. I've not yet to try the lieutenant in multiplayer, but I really enjoyed my time with it. If you're into solo gaming, this app really gives you an avenue to play Clank when you're by yourself. Again, even if you're not a big solo gamer, if you just like the mechanics of Clank, this is a good way to experience them when you don't have a group to play with at the time. The app is also an excellent learning tool. While it doesn't teach you all the rules of the game, once you read the rulebook, playing through a solo game can really help you master a lot of the different mechanics and get a handle before you go on to teach a group that hasn't played before. So the Clank app really has a lot of variety in ways that it can help you out. While this app isn't as involved as, say, the Descent 2.0 app or the Mansions of Madness app, I have to say that I appreciated how much it kept me focused on the game board. While I needed to consult the app during each turn, most of my gameplay was really interacting with the game as I would normally while I was the only player. So I really liked how they struck that balance between a single player experience that was really interesting while keeping me focused on the physical pieces that I love so much about board gaming. I highly recommend you check out Clank using the Renegade Studios app. It's really a great experience.